Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Art of Actualization. We need to talk about comfort and convenience culture and how they're limiting you. And honestly, that's putting it pretty nicely. Since I've been back in school, I'm interacting with a lot of people that I might not have crossed paths with otherwise, and it's really been frustrating me to see how many people are holding themselves back by choosing comfort and convenience. And that's fine if you're satisfied with that life that creates for you, of course it is. But if you want a bigger life or a deeper life, you have to accept some inconvenience. And if you're trying to break molds, that's what I'm all about. And I want to help you build your dream life, even if nobody else believes you can. But girl, you have to let go of the takeout food and the easy job. You have to be willing to be challenged and inconvenienced on a regular basis if you want to grow into the version of yourself that can do all the things you want to do. Now, like I said, at school, I see this issue come up a lot. I get that at school, we're really overworked. If you're taking 15 credits working and helping out your family, maybe sometimes you have to choose convenience, and maybe you won't get the most growth you can out of every single challenge you encounter. We are not trying to be perfect, but I do think consistently relying on AI, for example, is a really big convenience culture issue. I see people trying to use AI to study for tests or pick their essay topics, and this isn't to say there's no way to do that effectively. I don't know. But the way that people are doing it, the implementation of AI that I am seeing is really counterproductive. Those students are getting bad grades and leaving without any understanding of the material when if they had just cracked the book, used the find and document function to fill a study guide, or gone over the review of key terms at the end of the chapter, they could have done so much better. And it's crazy because it's not that much faster or easier, and the result is so much worse. It's like we are being sold this idea that it's going to make our lives easier, and based on what we've been told, we're deciding that we're going to do this to make our lives easier. It's not doing that. You're not getting an easier life out of this. And this isn't going to be an AI think piece. I want to talk about the issue of convenience culture as a whole, but I think it's a really good example that's at the forefront of a lot of our minds at this moment in time. But of course, fast food is a really similar one in that technically you're fulfilling the task, right? You fed yourself or you studied in the case of AI, but you're doing that in a way that harms you or makes you less capable of the things you want to do than you would have been if you chose a different way of doing things, right? Now, you could say fast food is really a lot faster than healthier options or that it's an issue of cost. But honestly, at this point, fast food prices have gone up so much, it's significantly more expensive than, say, the prepared meals that you could get in most grocery stores, which are usually healthier. And maybe that depends a little bit on your grocery store, but if you pick up a grain bowl at the store, it is just as fast and usually cheaper financially than getting something at McDonald's. And then you are actually feeding yourself something with fiber and nutrients, something that hasn't been deep fried, right? And there's certainly a place for eating things that have been deep fried. Don't get me wrong. Your girl loves a French fry, but if everything you're eating is deep fried, you're going to start noticing an issue with that. You're going to start having health problems. And even further than that, I think that people are getting fast food and DoorDashing takeout who actually could cook for themselves. They have the time, they have the money, they have the resources. And I don't want to police DoorDashing, right? I don't want to police getting fast food, but I think that if you feel tired and you feel like you don't have the energy and you're eating a lot of takeout or fast food, it might be time to consider whether that's the culprit. It might be time for you to change the way that you eat, right? And this goes with all of these things of convenient culture. And maybe the problem goes beyond just convenience culture because these simple conveniences are often also designed to be addictive in one way or another. All the fat, sugar, and salt that fast food makes you want that fast food more. It makes other food taste bland. And that's also what's making you unhealthy. And when you're using AI, it's telling you how smart you are, not just giving you answers right away. Whether those answers are correct or not is a different issue, and we're not going to get into that here. But over time, you're losing your ability to think critically or do research yourself or to discern more subtle flavors in your food or whatever it is. And that whole time you feel good. You feel good because that junk is what you're wired to want. And they are hijacking your system to get you to choose this option that's bad for you. And another similar thing here is dating apps, right? Because why go out and talk to human beings when you could swipe on an app and have the whole city or the whole world available to you at your fingertips? You get that dopamine hit as you're swiping through. And that human desire for convenience is natural, but we've managed to find so many ways as a society to set ourselves up for failure. And with dating apps, now dating is gamified and the gender divide is growing wider. And that's not to say this is the only factor in the gender divide, of course not, but it certainly isn't helping us, right? And having real conversations with real people that are really around us is pretty much essential to our sense of solidarity with one another, but we're cutting that out because it's inconvenient. And I hate to hear this. I hate to hear somebody complain about the idea of picking up a friend from the airport or following through on plans when they're tired from like scrolling on TikTok. Yeah, that's exhausting. I know, it really is. That sounds like sarcasm, but it's gonna burn you out. I know it. And good friendships and community are inconvenient. And learning is inconvenient. Going to the gym is inconvenient. But all of those things make your life better. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Most of the things that create a good life, a life that is filled with purpose and meaning and joy and love, those things are inconvenient. And so this trend where we're making everything easy, even if it's bad for us, it's having a huge impact, not just with the examples that I've given you. I can't give you every example of the way this is affecting our culture in this podcast. That's beyond the scope, right? And I hope that I don't have to detail each individual way for you. It seems like we're not hiking up a mountain to see the view from the peak anymore because we could just look at a video or a picture on our phones. But that's not the same. And the experience of wonder is not going to be equivalent to what you would have felt if you just went up, summited that mountain in person. And that feels like a metaphor, and I did originally mean it as one, but I actually think for a lot of people, this has become a reality. And I don't want this to come off as some Luddite rant. I think there have been a lot of fantastic advances in technology. I love progress. But I want all of you to consider whether you're taking the easy way out of something where that choice could be holding you back from the progress you're trying to make. If you're sitting at a desk all day and then choosing convenience when it comes to nutrition and exercise, that's going to compound in a way that you do not want in your life. If you have no friends, I wonder, are you going out by yourself and talking to strangers, or are you trying to use apps and the internet as your main source of interaction? If you want to be smarter or understand the world around you better, are you reading books and asking real people, maybe even experts, your questions? Or are you asking ChatGPT and scrolling on TikTok? I think we have to be critical of when we choose convenience. I've made a huge effort lately to say yes more when my friends want to hang out or need help with something, even if I was going to stay home. Maybe I have to wash my hair, I have to reschedule work or do my homework at a different time, whatever it is. I was going to choose convenience before, but now I'm deciding that's not what I want for myself because I was ending up more distant from my friends and my family than I wanted to be because of convenience. And I know I'm not the only one who's letting things that matter to them slip away because of this drive for what is comfortable and what is easy. So I want to push you all right now to think about what really matters to you in life and how you can make choices that may be less convenient, but will have a positive impact in those areas that matter to you. If you don't really think any of those changes would be worth it, maybe this podcast honestly isn't for you. But if you do see the value in facing those challenges, I hope you can go out and do the inconvenient thing. In fact, I want to challenge you to make at least 5 choices this week that are related to your personal priorities or growth areas and that are less convenient than what you would have otherwise done. Come back after and let me know how it goes. I think this exercise is great because there are some things we have convinced ourselves that we're incapable of, or we don't have time for, or we won't do it as well as if we offloaded it to tech or even somebody else. But once you do them, you're going to see it's not that big of a deal and it kind of feels good to do it. Living in our modern world where there's so much convenience and we're also expected to be so productive, it can be tough to find a balance where you can grow and keep certain parts of your humanity intact, but also meet the demands that are being put on you. And I don't want to minimize the weight of that or pretend choosing inconvenience is a super easy choice, but I want you to actually be making that choice, not just giving in. I want you to keep the sense of autonomy and choose for yourself what actually matters to you. I always close this podcast by saying, I love you. And like, girl, I seriously love you. And I want you to find everything you seek. I want you to be the greatest, most fulfilled version of yourself that you can be. And that is going to mean choosing the easy route from time to time because it's about priorities, not simply moving in with the Amish and throwing away all convenience entirely. Unless you want that. I won't stop you if you do, but I'm going to guess that most of you don't. I hope that your 5 inconvenient choices go well, and I hope they remind you a little bit of what a badass you are, honestly, right? Let me know what you think about all of this, especially how we can strike a balance in our modern world and under the systems that we have in place. It's a really difficult thing to do, and I acknowledge that, but I think it's worth the trial and error. And if you think this episode would help somebody you know or just start an interesting conversation, please share it with them. I love to start a conversation. And subscribe if you're not already so we can keep building our best lives together. I will see you in a couple weeks. I love you so much. Bye.